Well, good morning guys, and how you doing today? We have a Jeep. So this is a little older Jeep Wrangler, and if you're a Jeep guy, this was the first plastic dash Jeep. This was great. This was a blessing for us because it went from that all metal dash with those nearly impossible to place, cut your hands up 4x6s, to this nice plastic mount right here. 2 screws on the side, easily removable, easy to access. So that was cool. That was a big improvement over the previous model Jeeps. They also pretty much all come with sound bars, and this guy right here, a subwoofer in the center console. Almost every one of these, this guy is falling apart, dead, blown, toast. So we're gonna replace this today. We're gonna go ahead and put new 5 1/4s here. We're actually taking out the 4x6s and we're gonna replace those with the exact same 5 1/4s. For the subwoofer, we're gonna use this audio pipe here, which we'll tell you more about once we get to it. Radio wise, we're doing a Kenwood Marine radio, which is the CD player. So we're doing the KMRD 368BT, and we're doing some Kenwood Exelon 5 1/4s. These guys right here, the 134s. And of course, using a bunch of best kits parts that are needed for this install. So if you noticed, there's no Fernando right here. He's running a little bit late today. He had to go to the DMV. Oh, God. Poor guy. I know you guys can relate. First things first, we're gonna go ahead, start getting this thing apart, get the radio out, get the dash apart. He likes to do the rear speakers. I'm gonna save him for him because I hate crawling around in the back seat back there. He's a little bit smaller. It's easier for him to do. Let's get going. So most of the time when it has the subwoofer in the center console, it comes with these guys here. This is a 4 and a tweet. Just something to keep in mind if you're replacing your speakers. You might want to pop the grill off to see which ones you have. You might want to do a 4 and a tweet. Now for all you guys that do have a Jeep like this old style here, and you want to do a double din, you can now. If you go to metroonline.com, they do have a dash for this. It's this whole piece. Now anytime you pull a plastic panel off the dash, and it uses these crazy metal clips, as you can see, are really hard to get out. Go ahead and remove them now before you start taking any more of it apart, and put them back onto the dash kit so you don't have to do it at the end where you'll forget. So to get this center console out, there's 2 10mm bolts, one in the front cup holder, one underneath the gear shifter. In the back, there's 2 T30 Torx underneath the back cup holder. Once you've removed those, this guy is going to lift out. There's going to be a giant plug. Go ahead and unplug that, naturally. Now the whole thing will lift out. Alright, so we have the front half of the Jeep totally disassembled. So now we're going to go ahead and head over to the bench, put the speakers in their new mounts, get the wiring harness taken care of, get the subwoofer all mounted into place. Hopefully by then, Fernando will be back from the DMV. He can start on these rear speakers. Yay. Let's take a look at all the parts we're going to be using for this. We're going to use the 82, 10, 13. These are from Metra. These are what are going to convert the 4x6 location into a 5 1/4. Now if your dash has the 4x6 in it, there is some additional cutting required that these dashes don't have. This is the BK CDK 640 kit from Best Kits. It's a simple you know, slide the cage in, done. You are gonna need an antenna adapter for this. This is the standard Chrysler GM antenna adapter. And then for the harness, we're gonna use the BHA 1818. This is similar to what gets used now for the cars with the smart harness. This is right before these cars needed smart harnesses, so it does use that newer looking harness. So these are the 5 1/4 here. Now how these are gonna mount is with the fat end in towards the car. Speaker's gonna sit in just like it doesn't fit. Well, that sucks. Okay, so not all 5 1/4 fit in these. That's why we switched. We were originally gonna do Rockfords, but they don't fit in these at all. These are just a little bit bigger. No problem, we'll just actually router this out a little bigger. If you wanna keep this simple, go for a more entry-level style 5 1/4. Now, the subwoofer we're gonna use is the audio pipe. It is the TS CVR6. Now, this is a dual voice coil woofer because the factory is also dual voice coil. Now, if you'd like a step-by-step how to do this in this Jeep, believe it or not, we have a video that takes you step-by-step, like really long, drawn-out process on how to do this. So if we skip a step in this one, or you're like, hey, I missed something, go check out that video. It's in one of the install base videos. All right, so as far as 6.5 goes, this one isn't too bad. I mean, it's a mildly priced 6.5. It's gonna be powered off of the factory amplifier, so it will do the job. You can spend more money if you like, totally not necessary. Let's go ahead and grab the console, get this installed. Now this looks like it actually already has an aftermarket subwoofer in it. Now taking off the top isn't totally necessary. It just makes it a little bit easier because you're going to be flipping this thing around. Now when you flip it over, you're gonna see 4 terminals. You have a big one, a small one, a big one, and a small one. The big ones are black and light gray. The small ones are red and brownish or a darker gray. So now what we wanna do is find out which is positive and negative. You can do that with a polarity tester or just take a battery, tap it. If it moves away from, meaning if it moves out, that's in the right direction. In this case, the bigger terminals, like the black, are going to be the positive. Don't just assume because there's a red wire that means positive. It means the light gray is positive over here. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove the amplifier because this woofer is a little bit deeper than the factory style, so we need to remove the guts inside of this. For that, really all you need is a pair of pliers, and you can just reach in and turn, and the stuff will break right out. Alright, once you have that area all cleared out, go ahead and test fit your woofer. Now, even though this woofer comes with foam around the back side of it, I like to go ahead and add a second piece of foam because the way that this box was built, which was kind of, we'll just say not the smartest idea, is that this wire here gets crushed by the speaker. In lieu of redesigning this box, by adding the foam, just adds a little bit more protection for the wire that's gonna be underneath it. That way we're just totally not killing it here. Alright, let's go ahead and get this guy screwed in. Alright, this is back together. We'll set it aside and grab some more pieces and start building those. And look who decided to show up.
It's me.
Hey, how was your DMV trip?
It was good. It was good.
Good?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but has anybody really had a good trip to the DMV? I mean, he generally did have a great trip to the DMV. Who had? I mean, you've had like
a lot of people, like a lot. I was like,
God, dude, yeah. That has to be the worst if you have a January like renewal date in the DMV. Could you imagine having to pay taxes, get your driver's license renewed, like renew your registration? I mean, oh,
yeah. God, that was crazy.
That would suck.
Yeah.
But you had a good time?
Oh, of course, you know, just
There you
waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Yeah, but that's good.
Anybody see Zootopia? That's all I gotta say. You're gonna start on the rear speakers?
I'm gonna start in rear speakers.
All right, cool. Have fun. So as we said, the hole is just a little bit too small. So we've gone ahead and put some template tape on there. We're gonna stick the two of these together. And now what we're gonna do is take the actual speaker ring itself, which is the right size hole, and we're gonna attach it to these, and we're gonna router this out bigger. All right, we're all set. Perfect. All right, let's add some foam to the back of these speakers. We're gonna go ahead and mount them with this surface up instead of this surface up. That we can get a nice flat, you know, mount to it. All right, so these are all put back together. All right, so these are put together and ready to go. Let's set these aside and we'll grab the parts for the radio. Now, if you flip this kit over across the top, it has words. That lets you know what is the top. Otherwise, you know, it is shaped differently in top and bottom. Alright, that's pretty much it for the radio. Bent out a few tabs, just the 4. You don't need to bend every single one of these tabs out. We'll set this aside and start on the wiring harness. Now on these plugs, they have 2 powers and 2 grounds. Any plug this style does, but like the smart harnesses, they loop them together closer down here. On these style plugs, they didn't do that. So we're just gonna twist them together here and here when we solder them into our harness. Now on this harness, it has a brown wire that is not used. Alright, the harness is ready. We're pretty much done with all the pieces. Now let's just finish it up. Let's get it all in the car and get this thing out of here. Alright, this thing is all set. New subwoofer, 4 new 5 1/4s to replace the little dinky 4-inch in the dash. What do you think, Fernando?
It sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, not bad for just a basic upgrade. Those second ones sound pretty good. Alright, he's gonna get this out of here. Hold on, forgot to do one thing. He doesn't have cool power windows, so we want to roll the windows up. And lock the door, no power locks. Could you imagine? Oh. Alright, get this thing out of here. On to the next one.